Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank Mencken and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Joe Murray.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe!
How you going?
Good, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, I'm not sure
Yes.
if you know this,
Yeah.
but we have a Patreon.
We do.
Yeah, did you know that?
I know that now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know the link?
I do, actually.
What's the link?
It's patreon.com/thefroe show.
Yeah, and you should go check it out.
You should.
Patreon.com/thefroe show, where there's a whole after Froe show and
Heaps of
soundcheck
stuff.
shenanigans and behind the scenes content and stuff that I post sometimes
Yeah.
and other things that are going to happen if we get more patrons.
Yeah. So get on it.
Go to the Patreon. It's fun over there.
Yeah.
You have something written on the board, Joe.
I do.
It just says Afro,
It
and I
does.
need to know what that means.
I was talking to a friend this week about the show.
Yeah.
and I told them the name, and they kind of looked at me funny, and I was sort of like, oh. And I thought this was really cool. It's like the Froe Show. My name's his name's Frank. My name's Joe. And they're like, oh, okay. I thought maybe he had an afro.
Actually, I think I could do an Afro if I really tried.
Yeah, but I honestly had never thought of like Fro and afro, and I'd never put those two together when we came up with the name Fro Show.
Yeah, that never clicked in my head either. Maybe everyone just thinks that we're a hair show.
Maybe that's why we're not famous yet.
Excuse me. Actually, speaking of being
Not
famous,
super famous.
speaking
But
of
yes.
being famous, I got recognized for the
what?
first time this week. I got
Really?
Yeah. I was at our local shopping center
Yeah.
buying clothes, and I walked in, and he looked at me and was like. And then I went into the changing rooms and tried my clothes
Oh
on,
my
which I
word.
didn't buy because it was like a khaki shirt and I looked like Steve Irwin. But I walked out of the thing and
Yeah.
he was like, "Do you do a podcast?"
No way.
And I was like,
that is insane.
"Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, yeah."
That is awesome.
So I got recognized for the first
Wow.
time in public,
That is so cool.
and his name was
Oh, you better get it right.
Taron.
Okay.
Tennyson.
Oh, Tenny.
Tyson.
Wait, is it at Was it at?
He said that he knew of you but didn't know you very well, I think.
Oh, was his name Tennyson?
Maybe it started with a T.
Anyway, maybe it was someone else.
But yeah, so that was fun.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So I just walked out like, okay.
Very cool.
So Joe, we're pretty light on news this week.
We are a little bit.
But we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
But
Not much happened this week.
It'll be like 2 minutes long. So let's
Yeah.
just go into the news.
Let's just get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Froe News. I'm your anchor, Frank Mencken, and I'm joined by my co-anchor, Joe Murray.
Hello.
This is your Entertainment News Weekly. Joe, do you want to start?
Oh, this wasn't part of the plan.
No, I planned this in reverse, but I thought it'd be more fun to throw you in the deep end.
Alrighty. Disney subscribers will now get access to Milan for free after 3 months of its release. So in December, you'll now get it for free.
Okay, I'm still not going
So-
to watch it.
No, that's how exciting the news has been this week. That's
Alright.
my bit of news.
Next up, The Mandalorian. Speaking of Disney Plus, The Mandalorian
Yes.
has got a final release date for
Ooh.
season 2. So season 2 is going to start weekly
Yep.
as of October 30th. So I was just leaning over to look at my
Nice.
iPad. October 30th is when the next season's going to
Okay.
start, and that'll be a new episode weekly for 8 weeks until the end of the season.
Very nice. Some sad news. This is
Yeah.
kind of old news now. Well, at least when this comes out. But Chadwick, I've spelt his last name Baseman, but that's not his last name. What's his last name?
Chadwick Boseman.
Boseman,
Yeah.
that's it. Autocorrect. Passed away this week at the age of 43 from cancer.
Yeah, colon cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had it for 4 years. I
Yeah,
think.
he had it through the entire filming of every movie,
Really?
every Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, he
just insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
very sad.
super sad.
Yeah. Last piece of news.
Mm.
The Batman has halted production again.
Really?
As of 30 minutes before we started recording.
Oh.
Because one of the crew members
Mm.
has tested positive for COVID. and the crew member is Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
That's a
rough.
problem.
So hopefully he recovers quickly.
Yeah.
Luckily he's pretty young and doesn't have any underlying conditions, so
Yeah, okay, that's
should
good.
be fine.
Yeah.
But if Robert Pattinson dies, man,
Mm.
I don't know what I'm gonna do anymore.
Yeah. No more Froe show.
All right. Well, that was the news.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's more next week. Bye.
Bye.
It was so light this week. I have no idea why.
I struggled to find anything that happened.
I don't know. I think it's like peak Corona, so everyone's kind of just like not doing anything. There's no movies and there's no trailers. The June trailer comes out in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
That's like the only exciting thing that's coming. But
yeah, it's sad that there's no film things happening.
no, I rewatched Twilight last
Really?
week, actually.
I haven't actually seen it.
And it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I imagine it wouldn't.
Now, I do love the books. I have like a special place in my heart for the books, and the movies are still fun. They're
Yeah.
still so fun to watch. They're just not good.
Okay.
In no way would I say that Twilight is a great movie.
Right.
But if you're sick,
Mm.
or it's a rainy day, or you just want to watch awkward vampires interact with people, it's great. It's good times.
That's funny.
Um,
I'll get on that.
So let me grab my phone quickly.
Alrighty.
I put a poll up on Instagram. Not a poll. What's the thing? A question. Questions thing on Instagram.
Yes.
And I asked people for their questions to send in questions for the show. So we've had actually a surprising amount of responses.
Wow.
Um, and so I thought it'd be fun to do like a little bit of a Q&A sort of thing.
Let's do it.
So the first question from Caitlin Patman is, what's been your favorite episode to film / record and why?
Wait, is it for both of
It's
us?
for
Or
both
you
of us,
asking
yeah.
me?
I'm asking you and then I'll reply.
okay.
So what's been your favorite episode so far?
Oh man. I mean, I actually scrolled through our episodes on YouTube the other day.
I'm going to
And
look at
I
our
went back
episodes
to
right now.
The ASMR Retro Tech one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was actually a really fun episode.
That was like episode 2 or 3. It was
Yeah.
super early.
We peaked early.
Yeah, that's it. We should bring that back. A redo.
Retro Tech 2.
Retro Tech 2.
I'm down.
All right.
I have a
let's
lot
do it.
more Retro Tech now, actually. I've been
So do I, actually.
stockpiling it behind that curtain, and I haven't shown you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
All
Next
right.
week.
Next week, Retro Tech episode 2. Is that your
Oh,
favorite?
I don't know. I don't know. Just the last couple have been really fun. I don't know. It's sort of every week becomes a new favorite because we just
They get they get progressively better.
we
and
do it better. We have more fun. I don't know. It's just better.
Yeah. I don't have fun. I hate doing
Yeah,
this.
no.
This is just a job.
This is a job that doesn't pay.
Excuse me. We get
yes.
paid $2 an episode now. Thank you.
Oh,
Each.
really?
Yeah.
Each. That's
Wait,
actually very
did I do that
impressive.
maths correctly? Hang on.
That's
Maybe? No, I did not do that maths correctly.
no.
It was like
5, 6,
2, 4, 6, 8,
nine.
10. No, we get paid $1 an episode each. No,
Just over $1. No.
just $1.50, $1.25, something like
Let's
that.
just say $1.50.
Yeah.
That's a frozen Coke a week. Thanks, guys. I'm actually happy with that.
We have enough in our account now, I think, to get that chicken Caesar wrap.
That's
we
what we
talked
said was
about
going to be our
A
first
couple
purchase.
episodes ago. So we'll have to do all of our business
Behind the scenes
stuff,
yeah.
behind the scenes stuff, and make a business account so that we can get that.
And that we're gonna film that, and it's gonna be on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Our first purchase as the Froe
First
Show.
purchase of Patreon money. Such a stupid purchase. I think my 2 favorite episodes are split. My favorite episode, one of them, is the 6-month
That was a good
episode.
one, yeah.
That was a really fun episode, mostly because I just like decorating
All 5 minutes. of it.
very poorly. And then my second favorite episode was the one we did with Madison Beasley.
Oh, true.
Which was also
That was
really fun.
Good, yeah.
And I really want to start getting more guests on the show.
Yeah.
Because that was so fun. Just having someone else that's not either of
Me.
us.
Wow. Okay. No, just tell me how you really feel, Frank.
I'm taking the show and I'm renaming it the Froe Show. That's it. That's gonna be the new show.
Okay.
But yeah. So I think those are my favorites. Because I think it's fun to talk to other people.
Yeah. For sure.
As much as I love you.
Thanks. I get it.
Next question
Mhm.
is what are your future goals for the free show?
The free show.
I was supposed to
Couldn't
say
tell you.
nothing. It's paid. Actually, technically,
Get
it is a
money.
free show. Technically, everyone gets this for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the Patreon
Well,
show, but
No.
this. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, what are your
That's a
future
goal.
goals for the free show? Joe, what are your future goals for the free show?
Well, I guess we kind of spoke about this with the production company a little bit.
We did, and I think we also talked a little bit about it in episode 23 when we talked about our analytics and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess my goal at the moment is for it to feed into the production company
Yeah.
and work as a insight into that, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
No, I agree. I think I want to be able to start getting like high profile guests and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, true.
Like getting actual like big content creators,
Mm.
like YouTube content creators and stuff would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Other than that though, I think just keep on chugging.
Keep on keeping on.
Now kind of ties in. This is from Music Central, who also do.
Oh yes.
They also do a podcast. They do the Optimized podcast. We'll talk about them a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But their question is, how many subscribers do you think you'll have in 1 year?
From now, or 1 year of doing this?
That's a good clarification question. Do we want to just do both?
Yeah. So
So 1 year. So we're
1 year
6
in total,
months down now.
and we have 48.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, it's kind of sad when I say that. to
96.
people. 96. It's kind of sad when I say 48 to people, but then I'm like, we had, 10 for so long.
Yeah, and look, the thing is also that those 48 are people that actually watch the show, and they're
Yeah,
not just like
yeah.
empty followers. They're not just like empty numbers.
Yeah.
Which is a lot more
It's
beneficial
very-
than just having a high number.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. But what do you think?
Um,
March next year is our 1 year anniversary.
I reckon 150.
You reckon 150?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 1,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I should have gone higher than 150.
I reckon we can do 100,000 by March next
I
year.
reckon 250.
All right. And what do you think about a year from now?
I would hope for more, but 250. A year
Right.
from now?
Yeah. So September. September next year.
So production company will be in full swing, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know. 30,000.
30,000. I was gonna say 15. No, I was gonna say 10.
I was thinking 10.
A 10 like
That's a goal.
10. That is a stretch
That's
goal.
stretch goal.
What do we have on the whiteboard? Oh, it's on the other side.
But we've written like
I think it's
goals
10.
and stretch goals.
I think-
yeah, we actually have.
I'm pretty
We
sure
have-
it's 10 for
we've
end
written-
of 21 is 10.
Yeah, we've written a goal for those, for
Yeah.
subs that we want.
Yeah.
I think
so.
I think actually next year was 1K.
Oh, we're getting numbers. 10,000 for next year. All right. Cool.
For this time next year. End of next year.
End of next year. So
Yeah.
end of 21 we're hoping for 10.
I think
So
end
let's
of
say
this-
September next year, let's say 7.
Okay. So our aim was to get 1,000 by the end of this year. I reckon we'll get 1,000 by March.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Sick.
Next question is we have I have two other questions.
Yeah.
And they're both a bit cute.
Aw.
What is your favorite thing about each other?
Oh. There's too many things. There's too many things I like about Frank. I don't
Oh,
know.
you have an answer.
Hey?
What?
Oh, you don't have an answer. Welcome to the Joe Show. I just like Frank's one thing in particular.
I feel like we're on a dating show. This feels
You
like a
reckon?
dating show.
It does now. One thing. I just struck on ice. You just stop putting ice in our water when we.
No, I like
It's
ice.
so nice and cold, but I do it every now and then. I put a piece of ice in my mouth and I start crunching on it. I'm like, whoa.
I
Let me just move away from
just
this
fully
microphone.
choked. Sorry. Your favorite thing about me is that I choke on ice.
No, one thing I particularly noticed recently is just like your work ethic and your commitment to this and
I get shit done.
transparency.
What do you mean by
Just
transparency?
like
I'm like I'm pretty solid.
see through you. No,
Ow.
with your work, like I'll say to you, or maybe I'll ask you to do something, and then you're like fully honest. You can tell me exactly what you're gonna do, and I don't know, it's just good.
Aw, stop it.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite thing about Joe is that he shows up on time all the time. No, I'm kidding. No, my favorite thing about Joe is that he is much more down to earth than I am. So I'm like, let's do these million great ideas. And then Joe's like, all right, let's maybe try and shoot for one of them. If that.
Yeah.
Which is very helpful.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I really enjoy watching Joe edit, which is not really like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But it always makes me feel very inferior when I'm watching him edit because I'm like, I have no idea what any of the things are. Like, you get up the EQ and you're like, and I'm like, whoa. So yeah, your knowledge is pretty sick. Pretty sick. All right, last one, another cute one. What is your favorite meme together?
Oh. With the show or just in general?
Oh, I don't know.
We can do both.
Sure.
Oh well, we said favorite episode. That's kind of favorite. Meme.
Yeah, I think that'd be
So
Actually, I think my favorite memory outside of the actual episodes to do with the show would be us stressing about Maddie saying yes to coming on the show,
dude.
and us just like frantically trying to figure out how we're gonna put the studio together to get her here.
and
then and then me going to my car, noticing I have a flat tire when we were gonna go buy a chair.
Yes.
And then having
Just
to
the stress that week brought.
the sheer panic.
Just from what are we gonna do?
Yeah. And then it was like so much more chill than I
know
thought it was gonna
so
be.
good.
But yeah,
that was
first guest
I remember sitting here and like we were like, we can't edit this episode. We have so much to do. She said, yes, we can't do this right now. We don't have time.
But then we made it happen,
We did.
we always do.
It was great.
Yeah. That's mine. You can't take mine. Sorry.
Oh, well that I don't know for it during the show, but probably outside the show would have to be like where it all started, and it would have been like performing at school.
Oh man, you're blazing into my next section.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, we can go on. We
Yeah.
can carry on. Because the thing that I was gonna lead into with this was actually how the show started. Like why did we start it?
Yeah.
But yeah, you go on. You wanted to.
Just we did. I'm pretty much stealing your next segment, but
That's okay.
we did a lot of acting.
Yeah.
We did musicals. We did music together.
We had like 4 of our 6 classes together in school.
Yeah. That's just because I was smart. Did chemistry.
I did chemistry too.
Not for 2 years.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that'd be my most memorable moment together performing.
Yeah. I'm getting shirt ripping from the corner over there.
Yeah, I can
from
see
the
that.
peanut gallery.
I'm trying not to.
I should probably acknowledge that we have someone else in the room
We do.
for the first time. So we're just getting like hand signals every like 20 seconds. But yeah, no, that's definitely one of my favorite things as well. But
Yes.
in terms of how the show actually started, it was my idea on a whim.
So why did you ask me to? Because I remember you just being like, hey, want to do a podcast this one time? And I was like, yeah, not thinking this is going to be a weekly thing or anything like that. So why did you feel the urge to ask me to?
Well, because I was getting really into podcasts and stuff. Like I was listening to a lot of podcasts because my uni was an hour and a half away. So I started listening to podcasts. I was listening to 2, 3, maybe 4 episodes a day.
Right.
Driving up and down to uni.
Yeah.
And I kind of got to the end of last year and was like, I'm not doing what I want to be doing anymore. Like I don't enjoy my course, blah blah blah. And I was actually listening to the Ground Up show. I was listening to Matt Diavella's podcast, and the episode was all about like, it was basically like just do what you want. Basically, was the thing. Like, if you have an idea, do it. The worst thing that can happen is that it won't come into fruition, which is fine. And that was kind of like the catalyst at the end of last year. And I was kind of sitting on that, and then I went away to New York, and I was there for 3 weeks, and I was shooting a lot, and I was walking around, and I was like talking to all of these new people and having all of these experiences, and I was like, well, this feels like something that I would want to share, but I want to do it in a format outside of photos, because photos are so still, which is fine. That's what I signed up for, and I didn't really have the urge to do video. Which I do now, but I didn't then. So I kind of like, it was kind of those two things colliding of being like, I have a lot of things that I want to tell, but not a way to talk about it. That's not me just like going on my personal Facebook and being like, I went to New York, you know? So that was kind of the thing. And then I got back from New York and I was like, all right, I'm actually going to do this. And I started a podcast by myself first. And I did one episode of that and was like, I hate this. Like, I hate just sitting in a room talking to myself. And there's a lot of podcasts that do that. And it works for them. But I get distracted too easily. And it's and combining our skill set means that I can also, that our product is much better than what it would be if I did it myself, because I would be all about video, but my audio would probably suck.
Hi guys, welcome to my show.
Like, no, but actually, and so, and then I was like, all right, well, who can I recruit to do a podcast with me that would actually say yes? Because everyone else would be like, no, why would I do that with you? And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, well, I don't really want another filmmaker or another photographer. I want a flip-flop. And my original idea was to do a show where I'm the host and I get a new guest every week, because I have a lot of people that I know in the arts, and I can do like artists and musicians and photographers, videographers, whatever. But then I was like, well, I don't really want to have to carry that myself. And then I asked you, and I was like, hey, Joe, you want to do a podcast with me? And he thought that meant, hey, do you want to do one podcast one time?
I did.
And in my head, I was already planning like this entire dynasty of like podcasts and episodes and merch and like.
So this is down to earth and dreamer.
But you know, we should actually this is a good way to talk about how the name happened. Because we had a different name.
We did
for a very long time. Like we
right up until you were editing our first episode. And you were like, hang on, do you want to call it this?
We changed it right before we posted it. Because the original show was called Art Block.
And it actually was meant to look very different.
It was meant to be much more like pastel-y and like and I still really like that original cover art.
Yes, it was very cool.
But
I mean, like, even the content was going to be completely different. Like, our original idea was for us to host it and then get guests on every week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So essentially what you were going to do by yourself.
But with you. Yeah. And then that's changed over time into like what we have now, which is a show with just us where occasionally we get guests. Which is also fun.
Very fun.
But yeah. So that's kind of how we got here. And even within the show, it's evolved just so much. Just a stupid amount. Don't listen to the first episode ever.
Never. Don't listen to the first 10. That's from me. Listen to ASMR Retro.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Except, wait, which episode is... Go from, like, all work and no play.
That was a good one.
Which I think is episode 9.
Right.
I'm going to check. Because that's
was that the first Shining one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first episode where I was. Yeah, that's episode 9. All work and no play.
So we then spoke about, we were like, oh, every month we're going to do this one
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
Nah.
No.
It didn't end up working in the format of what the show became,
No.
unfortunately.
We do have segments still with it.
We do. We still. Well, I mean, we occasionally do stuff like that,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It's not like a whole episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of how our podcast has evolved, we got a new bit of gear this week that we are using.
Oh, are we going to that?
I'm skipping
Okay. All right.
because
that's
segues
fine.
be doing good.
Segways be bumping. Yeah. So you may have noticed that the wide looks a lot better today, and that we
Yeah.
have actual angles for our close-ups.
Yes, I got
Um,
the dodgy camera.
You did get the dodgy camera, unfortunately. It should match okay.
I mean,
actually,
yeah,
but my Blackmagic camera came.
yes,
My Pocket 4K.
It
My
is-
Boom Pukuka.
Boom
Boom Pukuka. No. Am I gonna have to censor that?
maybe.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I got my Boom Pukuka 4K.
Yeah.
This week, and it's all rigged out and it's shooting out wide. I really hope it's in focus. I'm pretty sure it is. From what I can, I have a big TV over here where I
It
can
looks
see.
pretty good.
Um,
Oh, the delay. Sorry.
yeah, it should be in focus. But I have had a chance to play with it a couple times, and I really love it.
It looks amazing.
Look,
It's a beast.
yeah,
I thought the EOSR was like big.
nah. And it's not even fully. So on the Blackmagic, I currently have a cage, a top handle, an SSD holder, SSD, and a shotgun mic. And that's it. But the rig is I did the maths, and it's gonna be about another $1,200 to finish the rig that I want to put together.
Yeah.
So
But that's gonna very slow thing.
yeah, I'm buying because it's grouped into sections. So I'm gonna do one thing every couple weeks.
Right.
So I'm gonna do because I have to get a monitor, I have to get a battery solution, and I have to get rails and a follow focus. So
Yeah.
and each of those is $250 to $500
Mm.
respectively. So those will kind of come individually. I'm gonna do the monitor first because that is the first thing that I've noticed has been pissing me off. Is
Really?
that when I'm filming because the way that I film with the top handle,
Yeah.
I'm holding it like this, but the screen is
that.
under the handle,
Yeah.
so I can't actually see what I'm shooting.
Ah.
So I want to put the monitor on top of the handle so that I can actually see.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the first thing, and then I'm gonna get the side grip and the rail and follow focus and stuff, and then I'm gonna do the battery stuff last. That'll be my last thing because I have like 5 LPE6 batteries lying around, which are the
Yeah.
ones that it takes.
Yeah.
And it has a 20-minute battery life, give or take.
Okay.
So,
So you can still get an
so
hour.
I
or
get an
two.
hour 20.
Yeah.
20, 40, 60, 80. Yeah. I get 100 minutes. So an hour
An
and
hour and a
40
half.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, my maths is so bad today.
Since I'm doing music, I only have to count to 4 now, so I don't.
I only have to count to... Actually, I have to count a lot more. I have to count to 32 sometimes.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. And I have to do decimals and
Imagine.
stuff. I have to do decimals.
What?
So I have to do like 2.8, 3.6,
Oh
4,
my.
5.6.
Can you speak English, please?
I have to do aperture.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah.
I've noticed something very interesting with the Blackmagic camera. So I went out to the docks near where we live. It's like half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's half an hour from you as well. It's like
Yeah.
45 from here.
Yeah.
But I went out and shot there the other night, and I was shooting at night. One, low light capability on the Blackmagic. Mwah, incredible. Love it. 10 out of 10. But the issue that I had was I was getting a lot of flickering in the lights and stuff.
Oh.
And I couldn't figure it out because there is a flicker setting in the Blackmagic cameras that lets
Right.
you switch the refresh rate of the camera to the refresh rate of the lights, which in Australia is 50 hertz. And if you're in the US, it's 60, and that just means that normal lights don't flicker.
Yeah.
But cheap lights, as in the kind of lights that they would use for a cheap project on a dock,
Yeah.
when you're shooting in higher frame rates, flicker because they have a really, really slow refresh rate. And there's like nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Which I didn't know, which I never knew before, because I never shot low frame rate stuff with my old camera because it couldn't really.
Yeah.
And when it did, it would kind of fix it a little bit in body, so I would never really notice that was happening.
Yeah.
But it's been really weird because it's like fully in the lights. It's just like it's like you can see the whole thing rolling, and it's to do with the refresh rate of the lights and the fact that the Blackmagic cameras are rolling shutter and not global shutter.
Right.
Which I don't understand super well, but the gist of it is that it roll like on a camera like this, it physically rolls. So the shutter is like going it's capturing 24 frames a second or 60 frames a second.
Right.
But with a lot of higher end cinema cameras, like the new Red that came out has a thing called global shutter, which basically means that it doesn't flicker. It just is it's just like capturing it directly onto the sensor.
That's cool.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's something I never had to deal with before. And there is no fix for it in post.
It's just right.
It's literally just that sucks. Yeah.
Can't use that shot.
No, and a lot of people use it a lot actually in horror movies and stuff.
True.
To get a weird effect with their
The lighting,
their creatures and stuff. Where like
yeah.
because it's a very unnatural flicker. It doesn't look like because the light you can see that the lights aren't turning on and off.
Yeah.
But it's just like a.
Ah.
It's very weird.
Very weird.
But yeah, so that was something I never experienced before. But on the whole, super super happy with my new camera.
Yeah.
Like I am in love with it.
It is
beautiful.
I really want to play with it.
You can play with it after the show.
Awesome.
And I'm bringing it with me over the weekend.
Oh, that'll be cool.
So hopefully I can cut together a cute little video.
Yeah. Very nice.
But yeah, I want to go back.
Yep.
Because we got shouted out this week.
We did. It was awesome.
It was very, very sweet.
Very cool.
And I really appreciate it because it's from some guys that have been pretty active on our channel, actually on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's these guys that their YouTube channel is called Music Central, Music Central Productions.
I thought it was just Music
It
Central.
might just be Music Central. I'm getting a nod. Music Central Productions? No, Music Central. Music Central.
Maybe I should get it up. So
yeah.
But
But I do know the name of their podcast. The name of their podcast is the Optimized Podcast.
Yes.
And they talked about our show the other day.
Yeah.
And they said that we were top lads.
Top lads. So I've written on the board here.
Before you start bagging them out.
No, I'm not bagging them out. No, this is something I wanted to clarify. Is
Okay.
that I've written accent there. And that's just I honestly love accents. I'm not bagging them out. I love it, and I love because I've done acting. We've done acting.
Yep.
I love trying different accents and all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's so cool. It's so cool listening to other people's accents, and particularly in different places what people say.
Top lad.
Top lad. No, another thing that they said is that that we're class,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I would never say that someone's class. I'm not saying that's weird. I'm saying it's really cool.
I'm gonna start calling people class.
Yeah,
now.
and I was just like, I'm just thinking, what would I say? I'd be like bloody brilliant or something.
I would say that they're sick.
Sick.
That
yeah.
would be my go-to. I think I'd say they're sick.
Or dope.
Dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very American. I think.
Dope
Dope.
is yeah. But I would have said bloody brilliant. It's
Bloody
a
brilliant, boys.
brilliant show.
Should we actually? You know what? I'm gonna.
Because it was kind of like his review of us was that we're class. It's a class show, and I'm like bloody brilliant. show.
Wait. I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna send it to them.
Awesome.
Can we do our like most bogan Australian accents? And
What are we saying?
what's our line will be, they're bloody brilliant,
Good on you, lads.
and they've got a bloody sick show. All right, are you ready? I'm gonna do my like sickest Australian accent.
You're not even Australian.
I know, but I'm gonna do it.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yep. Are we gonna look at the
Yeah,
camera?
we're looking at the white.
What are we
Actually,
saying again?
Should we look at our? We'll look at the white. All right.
Yeah.
They're bloody
Bloody
brilliant,
brilliant.
and they've got
It's
a bloody
bloody
sick show.
Okay.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. They're
Yeah,
bloody brilliant, and they've got a bloody sick show. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thanks, boys.
No, yeah, it
Um,
was really cool.
Yeah, they're a
Very
great
cool.
show. Check them out.
check
Optimized
'em out.
podcast. They talk a lot more about music
Here's
than we do. It's not going to show up there.
Ah.
It'll pop up in a card here, I think. Maybe. If I can figure
In
out
the
how that works.
description.
Either way, they're in the description. But yeah, they're very cool. They have a great show.
Yeah, really
they
cool
talk,
stuff about like all the guitars and music.
Yeah.
Just music stuff.
Yeah.
It's really in depth and
It's
really,
very
cool.
much your kind of show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're branching out actually into film stuff as well, which will be very
Yes,
cool.
I've noticed that.
So yeah, I was chatting to Theo the other day, who's one of them, one
You're
of the
right.
two boys.
I couldn't remember what the other guy's name.
Theo and
I remember-
James, I think.
It's Josh, I think.
Josh? Sorry, boys.
sorry, guys. I
Let me-
remember Josh.
I'm going to Theo and Josh. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Theo and Josh. Sorry, Josh. I apologize. But they have a great show. 10 out of
It
10.
is very good.
And they're very young,
Yeah.
which is they're I don't know if they've said their age on their show, so I'm not going to say it. But
Okay.
um,
Maybe I think they're older than they are.
maybe.
We'll talk about this.
We'll talk about it after. But
Yeah.
they're younger than we are. Is
Oh, okay.
the point that I'm
I
getting
thought
at.
they were same age.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But they do a great show. I
do.
actually genuinely cannot wait to see where their show goes.
Mm.
Because they've already got like a fairly large following.
Yeah.
Especially on Instagram, because I think their Instagram started as like a meme education page for music or something like that.
Okay.
So they have a following of a little over 1,000 on
Oh, wow.
Instagram. So
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, keen to see where they go.
That would be very cool.
And I would love to get them on the show at some point.
Yes.
Just for like a 10-15 minute segment.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be very
All right,
cool.
I'll contact them this week, see if we can figure out a time.
Awesome.
UK time is hard for us though, because
Because it's like
pretty much
14
flipped.
hours, isn't it?
Yeah, it's essentially directly flipped.
So, what time would it be over there now?
10 p.m.
If it's 9 o'clock in the morning here,
Let me check. I'll Google it. I'll give it a fat goggle.
yeah, it would be 10 p.m. So we would have to do either a very very early show or
It
very
is
late.
12 a.m.
What?
Yeah. So we'd have to.
We'd have to do a late show.
We could do a late show and they could do an early show.
It depends when they film though, because if they
They film
normally-
at night, I think,
so we
which would be
might
like
have to do a
3 in the
early
morning
show.
for us.
We can do that.
We could do that. We could do a sleepover.
Oh, so cute.
Grown ass men doing sleepovers. I love it.
Awesome.
You have mic tech on the board.
Mic
Let's talk
tech.
about that.
Well, it's actually mic techniques.
Yes, I suck at writing.
So sorry, it's not.
That's
not
okay.
cool
Mic
miking things.
techniques.
Yeah. How important are they?
Not at all.
They're not at all important.
No one cares where the mic is as long as there's audio.
As long as there's audio, it doesn't really matter.
Looking at the levels just then made me really nervous. I was just like looking down like
They're gone. Where did they go? Yeah, miking techniques. Hold up. I think I had notes. I have found that they are super important just all the time. So I've talked about like how important it is to capture essentially what you get first. So same with film. The initial film is going to be the most important thing
Yeah.
because you're not going to be able to fix it in post, just like that.
like the
that light
flickering.
thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Same with music. You know, capture the best audio so you don't have to do as much in post. And I found that miking techniques are so much more important when you focus on that. Did I write anything? No. I wrote mic placement. And yeah, so mic placement on different instruments is super important and make sure you do your research. Because did you know, even when you're...
Probably not.
Yeah, fair enough. Even when you're recording a vocalist, let's say if the microphone is angled slightly forward or slightly backwards, or is upside down and is slightly forward or slightly backwards, or is slightly higher or slightly lower, all of those positions will capture a slightly different sound. So, very cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never really thought about my mic. I'm like, as long as there's audio, it's fine.
Because, see, this is the issue. But you sent me a thing, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, of a new miking placement
Yes.
for something for work that you were doing.
Yeah.
And it was it was an overhead shotgun rather than behind the microphone,
Yeah.
behind the camera.
Yeah.
And how will that turn out?
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So much better.
And
Because the
quality.
prior shotgun was completely unusable.
Yeah, and you were just using the lav.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how important is
Okay,
mic
yeah. You know
placement?
what? Fair point. You make a
Mm.
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a really, like, great idea.
Such a dramatic difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. That was very South African. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a massive difference.
Yeah.
And even for like it's not even in the place where I actually would want it, because technically I would want it like here.
Yeah, as close, really just as close as
Yeah,
possible. And in
but
front.
right now it's here.
I mean, that's how films are pretty much
Yeah.
done, so that it would sound like a film.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Actually, just realized I remembered yesterday I was filming recording. Yesterday afternoon I was recording a symphony orchestra,
Yeah.
and it's
Brag
also
about
it's also important as to where instruments are positioned in the room, because in this room in particular there was a resonant frequency that was coming from the cymbal and the timpanis.
What is a resonant frequency?
It's a frequency that it kind of rings, so
Right.
it sounds like feedback,
Yeah.
except there's no speakers turned on,
Oh.
so it happens in the room. So it's just a frequency that rings in the room.
So it just doesn't die very easily.
It doesn't die, and because of where the instrument will be placed and because of how it bounces off the walls, you know how I've told you about, sort of talked about phasing a little bit,
Yeah.
and how when you're mixing in a room, bass frequencies can double or disappear in different places in the room.
Yes. Yeah. You
depending
mentioned that
on-
before.
Depending on your treatment and speaker placement, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Similar thing, except it's a frequency, that'll pretty much double in a lot in the room,
Right.
or like quadruple, and to a point where they hit a certain note and that's all you hear.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
So
Do you want to talk a little bit about what it was like? For one, what were you recording?
Mm-hmm.
Why? And how it went?
yeah. I was recording this week I've been recording several ensemble groups for a school. And that was because coronavirus restrictions, they can't put on big end of year performances like they normally do. So they wanted to just do some recordings.
Yeah.
It's through uni. That's why Frank always makes jokes about me not getting
Unpaid
paid.
work, yep.
Yeah. They went through. They were sneaky. They went through uni so they didn't have to pay anyone. But yeah, no, it's been really cool. What was your other question about it? How it went?
How it went? Yeah.
Did
Did you run into any obstacles and stuff?
Oh,
or-
heaps. So they just built this new facility, and it's not set up to record.
Right.
But they wanted to do some recordings in that with their gear.
Yeah.
They wanted to sort of show it off a bit. And because it's not set up to record, there's lots of bugs in the system.
Yeah.
One in particular, we
Should've
got
called an
there.
exterminator.
Just see the person in the corner laugh. Alicia laughing like.
She's been doing that the whole time. It's really validating me. It's great. I love it. Because you're so used to my jokes.
I know. I dismissed them now. What was I saying?
Bugs. There were bugs in.
There were bugs. Oh, and so one particular one, when we got there last Friday, was our first recording. We got there and we saw the desk. Now, the desks that we normally use are like big analog ones, which obviously
Yeah.
a school won't have.
Really? Why?
Money. And so we got there and it's this little desk, and I'm like, and they're talking about all these features that are with it and all that kind of thing, and I'm like, yeah, I know that's for a live. This is for a live setup. This isn't for a studio recording. Like, but we made it work. That you can record audio off of it, just like you would do in a live setting. So our very first session, what they normally do is record onto a USB, because you can just plug a USB in, hit record,
Yeah.
and it just records the show as a multi-track. It records every single track. And what had happened is the USB wasn't fast enough. The
Oh.
audio wasn't uploading to the USB fast enough.
Right.
So the track, it would skip during the track.
Oh, that sucks.
So we like only maybe 3 seconds,
Yeah.
but it happened every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So
So it's completely unusable.
yeah, and we played it. This is probably the worst moment in my audio engineering career.
Oh no.
It was me playing it back to them, and then not realizing until we played it back. So we're playing it back, and they're like, "Oh, that's skipped." I said, "Oh no, I think we were using this dodgy amp," and I was like, "No, I think it's just connection between the my computer and the amp." And then it did it again, and they were like, they just looked at me funny, and did it again, and then I realized what had happened.
Oh.
And it was the end of the session. They had no more time to record, and that was the worst moment of my.
What did you do?
We
They just held
organize a
back.
new time
Right.
to record it. That was yesterday as well. But yeah,
That's rough.
so yeah,
That's really
played it
rough.
back and it was like, oh
Uh,
yeah, and like we were told that these session times were it. There was we couldn't redo it, but the guy was very
was it your USB or was it?
No, it was theirs.
Oh, so it's their
So
fault.
it was all their gear. Then the guy was very like understanding. He was super cool about it. He was like, it was the first session, something was going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So at least, and then we stayed back for like an hour and fixed it all up. We were set up for the afternoon,
Oh,
and
good.
he was like, "All good, guys. We'll try and organize it another time." But yeah,
That's rough.
worst
though.
moment.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, everything's gone great.
Good.
Mm.
I hope I can hear them at some point.
I will
I'd
play
be
you
keen.
some.
Cool. Now, you sent me your notes last night,
Yes.
so that I could have them. And I could kind of very generally gather what most of them meant. I have no idea what comfort means.
Well, this also has to do. This is a little discussion that I want to have with you because I want to know your.
Whenever I
views.
hear someone ask to have a discussion, I feel like I'm in trouble. Like I feel like I'm
You're
gonna
like
get told that I
throwbacks
did
to
something.
year 10 maths. Let's have a discussion, Frank.
I'm sorry, Alex.
No, this is actually springing off what I've this session that I've been doing. So we've had 7 sessions, 8 groups.
Yeah.
Actually, technically 8 sessions and 8 groups now. The reason why I put it there is being comfortable, but also being professional. How do you?
Oh,
Finding, like,
right.
that
I get what
happy
you're saying.
medium.
Yeah.
Let me
Like
write-
not being stupidly formal, but not being like.
Yeah, not being too comfortable, not being too yeah.
Yeah, I get what
What
you
did I
mean.
write? Being comfortable in a professional space, but not too comfortable.
Yeah.
So I did this. I've done these recordings with a mate from uni. We're both doing them together,
Yeah.
and I think he got a little too comfortable towards the end
Right.
because we're being in the same space all the time. Every session we'd walk in, set up, and then that was it. But he would even things I was doing, like sitting on the windowsill while they're recording. Should I be sitting? Or there was a chair there. Should I sit down or should I stand in the corner? Because
Yeah.
my job for a lot of the sessions was to, while they were recording, just stand in the live room
And
and
just monitor.
if anything went wrong, just be there.
Yeah.
So I was like, can I lean on something? Do I sit? Should I stand? Do I stand here? Do I stand there? Yeah. Things like that where, yeah.
Where would you draw the line? Yeah.
Are there any tips that you might have or anything that you go through in your head where it's like...
Well, for me, it really depends on the setting. Like if I'm shooting a funeral or something,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna sit on the floor and be like.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's really situational. I think
Yeah.
for the most part, I think asking is always fine.
Yeah,
like
true.
just asking the person who's hired you and being like, "Hey, what are your expectations for me professionally? Would you prefer me not to sit on chairs, that sort of thing?" Like, especially for people that shoot weddings and stuff, because
Yeah.
I used to work weddings, not as a photographer. I used to work as a bartender for weddings,
Yeah.
and the rules change depending on the bride and groom.
Yeah,
So
true.
it has nothing to do with the establishment. You have to ask the bride and groom and be like, "Hey, is it okay if I sit? Is it okay if I have some food? Is it okay if this, that, whatever?
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's fine.
Yeah.
But occasionally you will get the one or two people that are like,
Mm-mm.
no, you're not a person, you're a product.
Yeah. Right.
And those are the people where you kind of just have to be like, okay, in your head,
Yeah.
I am just a camera,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's all I ever am and ever will be for you.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it really depends on the person that's hiring you. And like I said, it's always fun to just ask and be like, what are your expectations
Yeah.
for me?
Yeah.
But I think in general, guideline is like, treat it like you would walking into like a new girlfriend's house for the first time and like meeting their parents.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's kind of the way. That's kind of like my mindset of like, you want to be comfortable and chill and calm,
Yeah.
but
Respectful and
like on your guard. Like,
Yeah.
don't be caught out.
Yeah.
Don't get too
Yeah.
comfortable in where you are. Because not just professionally, but like your gear could get taken, or
Yeah.
you could be distracted for 2 seconds and miss
And
an
miss
opportunity
something.
or
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So it's not just a like a mental thing, it's also a practical thing. But yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, see, in particular with this session is that it was difficult to, because we were there all the time, and yesterday, for example, we were there all day from 7 till 6.
Yeah.
So it was hard to keep professional for the whole week and to get comfortable in the space, but not make it be home.
Yeah. Right.
Because, we'd pack up at 6 and then we'd be there at 7 o'clock the next morning. So we're like, what do we leave out? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff. So that was a challenge of staying professional
Yeah.
as we went along, and as we got to know people more, got to know the teachers more and things like that.
Yeah, you kind of fall into that false sense of security, but you're
Yeah.
still a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So I don't know of any tips. I wanted to just talk about.
Well, I mean, on a kind of separate note, that's why a lot of, because there's obviously a whole thing in Hollywood of like producers and directors making really inappropriate comments.
Yeah.
And that's the exact same thing, is they just get too comfortable
comfortable.
with the people that they work with and forget that it's still a workplace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you wouldn't walk into an office and like tell a disgusting joke.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
just not what you do in an office, but you get comfortable on a film set because that's what, like it just feels so much calmer.
Yeah.
And it's stressful in a different way. So just don't get lulled into that false sense of security and you'll be sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay on your guard.
Yeah, exactly. Stay
Yeah.
on your guard. I had an example, but I can't remember. Anyway, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to talk about one more thing before we finish up.
Alrighty.
And it's my smart lights.
Yes.
Because I invested this week in a whole bunch of smart lighting stuff. I bought the IKEA ones. And I am so happy with them. Just so happy with them.
That is
I
really
doubt
cool.
they would show up on camera if I turned them on right now.
They probably would on my face.
Let me try. I'll give it a go.
Have a geese.
I'll turn it on and we'll see what happens.
They're very cool though. I'm looking at getting smart lights in my studio. Now that I have time, I'm going to clean and make it look good.
Make it look good. There we go. Do you get any color cast? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But they're on
But
now.
it's purple.
They're purple, and I can. Oh, actually, they're full brightness. I can make them daylight.
Is that a smart light in the top one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, that should give a little bit of light into the
A
scene.
bit of warmth.
I can chuck it to orange. That might give some.
Orange.
Ooh. Oh, I think I saw a little color shift. Anyway, point is, they're very cool, and I really, really
Very,
like
very
them.
cool.
And they've already proved very useful because I literally don't use my main light anymore.
Oh.
Like I just use these lights.
Just use them. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, would recommend. And when we
Yes.
do the studio, I really want to do all the lights with smart lighting.
I'll just be turning the lights on my way up the driveway.
Well, you can get motion sensors. Yeah.
That would be epic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
which would be so much cooler.
Then having to turn it on.
Just walk in. It's like the scene from Dark Knight where he walks into the thing. It's like
Yes.
you can get light panels, but I don't think that would be very sound efficient.
Probably not. But we could just put a light every meter.
Yeah, and just go.
Set it up.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
has to make that sound effect. We have to attach
We'll have
speakers to
speakers
it.
then, yeah. 100%.
That's practical, right?
Yeah,
That's a great
surely.
idea.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Client walks in.
That happens every time someone walks in and out of the room.
All the lights
All the
turn
lights
off.
turn off. It's just you sitting in the dark.
Yeah.
All right.
Give it a minute. Oh no, back up.
I'll be on the second. All right. Do you have a Foley fact?
I have a
All right,
Foley
good.
fact.
Let's do a Foley fact.
Joe's got a Foley fact. Foley fact. Joe's got a Foley fact. Yeah.
All right, Joe, hit me with your Foley fact.
Alrighty, this one is one that has been used in a very well-known film.
I thought you were going to say on the show. I was like, Joe, this is not how the Foley facts work.
That was a click. I did that with my fingers. No, in the 1993 Jurassic Park film.
I got my Jurassic Park hat out today, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you knew this Foley fact was going to be about Jurassic Park. Do you know the scene where the Velociraptor is hatching?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not gonna. The Foley fact's not the.
That was actually Steven Spielberg. Is it a Steven Spielberg movie? I think so.
I think so.
It's just Steven Spielberg in a
Now you
microphone
make-
going.
I'm second. I believe that.
I'm
That's
looking
not
it
my
up
Foley
now.
fact.
I'm looking it up while you talk.
My Foley fact is actually for the shell. I want you to guess what you reckon that shell was.
Egg.
I
It
w-
is Steven Spielberg, by the way.
I was
No,
expecting you to say an eggshell.
I am going to say.
If you get this right.
I'm trying to remember the sound, but I know it doesn't sound like an actual eggshell. I'm going to say that it is either like a crispy bread or like a papadum or something like that.
You kind of getting there.
Okay.
It's actually an ice cream cone. Not with the ice cream, but just the cone. That'd be really
To be
gross.
fair, actually, you could do the whole
maybe-
thing at once.
Maybe it actually is the whole thing.
because that could be like the squelchy of it, like.
Maybe it is the whole thing. They just said crushing an ice cream cone. They didn't say if it had ice cream in it or not.
Man, Steven, we need clarification.
We do. Hit us up.
Well, I mean, there is that whole thing of like you have 3 degrees between you and everyone in the world. Have you heard about this?
No? What?
So
Do tell.
the
Explain.
saying is that everyone is 3 degrees away from Kevin Bacon, and it basically means that you within 3 connections
Yeah.
you are in contact with any person.
Wow.
So, and this has like been proven true. So it's like you know someone that knows someone
That
that knows this person
right.
at the very least.
Yeah.
At maximum. Like there is.
So there's only like 4 people,
Yeah,
5 people.
it might be the 3rd person, it might be the 4th, but there's always 3 degrees of separation between you and any person on the planet,
Wow.
which means that I know someone that knows someone that would know
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg or I don't know Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's the whole thing. So obviously it's not a super practical thing because like, you know,
Who would I know that would know someone that knows someone that knows?
well,
Steven
you
Spielberg?
probably know a uni lecturer that's worked on a film at some point
True.
that would have had Steven Spielberg on the crew. That
I'm
would
gonna
be
go ask
that
someone
would be how that connects. Well, they probably wouldn't know it, but it would be like they worked on a film with someone that they met at one point who also worked on a film with that person. That sort of thing.
Ah,
So that's how it connects. Yeah.
that is really cool.
Yeah, really cool, right?
Yeah.
I really like that fact.
That is very cool.
But yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
should we finish up?
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Froe Show. Oh, we should mention at the end of this episode that there is no Patreon episode this week.
No.
Unfortunately, we don't have time this week, which sucks. But
It does.
we will do one next week, and we will make it twice as good.
Oh, how? But how could we make it twice as good from?
Maybe bring actual content. No, we do bring content now. It's a good show.
It
Go
is.
check it out.
Go check it
Go
out.
to the Patreon. Patreon.com/The Froe Show.
Maybe it can be an extended cut.
Yeah, we'll make it like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or also, before we finish,
Mhm.
we have a new Patreon this week.
We do.
So shout out to Ebony. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining the Patreon. We appreciate your contribution to us greatly.
Yes.
I did forget to shout out the patrons this week, all of them, but we will do that in next week's episode.
We will.
When we are not freaking out.
Yeah.
Cool. And check us out on social media at The Froe Show and everything.
Yep.
And DM us. And if you go there, you can ask us questions for episodes and that sort of thing that we will do in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah. Joe, do you have anything you want to finish with?
No. See you next week.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You don't get a shout out this week. Sorry.